wrestling fans. My name is Brian Crazy.
I'm JC Styles.
And we're the F&B brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com. Thanks for tuning in once again. We are back with our Monday Night Raw review for June 4th, 2012. It was a great night on Raw. We'll get into that in just one moment. But the biggest thing to come out tonight is on next week's edition of Monday Night Raw. The chairman of the board, Vince McMahon, the founder of the company, will return, and he will give Mr. John Laurinaitis a job evaluation. Also, before we begin, please check out the official website of the F&B brand, FFightNationWrestling.com, and all the other great links to our social media and other channels provided in the description box below.
Yes, we kick off the show with John Cena and Michael Cole in the ring. Michael Cole talks about how John Cena owes the Big Show an apology and owes pretty much everyone who's been on the wrong side of the Big Show's path over the last couple of weeks since the Over the Limit pay-per-view. Then this interview and this segment basically, altercated. Later on in the night, we saw John Cena versus Michael Cole one-on-one.
Well, exactly. Cole did interview Cena, and throughout the interview, like JC said, Cole was just trying to poke at Cena. He's just trying to get a rise out of Cena, and basically he's trying to turn the tables on Cena, making Cena look like he's the bad guy, and Big Show is innocent in this whole situation. Then Cena discusses No Way Out, the Big Show, and John Laurinaitis. Ace comes out, Johnny Ace. That's John Laurinaitis, for you guys that aren't familiar with John Laurinaitis as a wrestler. He comes out and says that Cena can pick any opponent tonight, except for him, who is now retired since the match at the pay-per-view, and also the Big Show, who is not in the arena tonight. This is when John Cena's like, get a little taste of revenge here. I want to face Michael Cole. Then we go into the first match of the night. We see Sheamus face off against Dolph Ziggler. This is a rematch from Friday Night SmackDown.
Yes. Great match. Definitely just like the one on Friday Night SmackDown. This one was just as good, if not maybe a little bit better. Again, I really want to see more out of WWE booking Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler definitely has what it takes to hang with the main event, but they're allowing him not to pick up the win, and I think that's what's really hurting his career right now, because he could easily picked up one of the victories over Sheamus, either for last Friday night, or tonight.
Well, it's just how the situation's evolving. We see last week that Jack Swagger got involved, thus kind of breaking up their tag team. This week, a little bit different, but there's got to be a certain ratio of faces to heels getting over in the night, and a little bit later in the night, there is an unpredictable win over the WWE Champion. So basically, Sheamus does pick up the win in this match, and when he's heading up the ramp, this is when he's attacked by Alberto Del Rio and his personal ring announcer, Ricardo Rodriguez, and Alberto ends up locking Sheamus into the cross arm bar right on the edge of the stage, so Sheamus's body weight's basically hanging off, and he's just pulling his arm, and pretty much ends that segment. Then we go into the next match. We see Sin Cara versus Hunico, and I'll let JC Styles take the majority of this, but first things I have to say is, if you guys remember when Hunico broke into the WWE, he broke in as the Black Sin Cara. And there was a great back-and-forth series of matches between these two superstars, and Hunico basically was matching the style of Sin Cara, and it was just a really interesting thing. Then when he evolved into Hunico, he became more of a bruiser. He still had some of that high-flying, some of that cruiserweight style. But in tonight's match, I would really like to see him pull out that once again. It was only last year. Us fans don't forget that quickly how talented the superstar is, and that's why I followed Hunico. I think he's a great superstar, and I think he has great potential in a future cruiserweight or in the mid-card, or maybe even potentially in a tag team with Camacho.
Yes. Like Brian said, we move into a great match, one-on-one action. Prior to the match, I'm online talking with buddies, Xbox Live, this, that, and the other, talking with a lot of our subscribers, and the negativity that I hear about Sin Cara, and I actually, I kind of misaimed Brian when I sent the message. I said, great match. It was good not to see him kind of, mess up a little bit. Not saying that the in-ring style of Sin Cara is, everyone says he's botching. They call him Botch Cara. Then they talk about the gimmick with the lighting, the situation with the lighting. And I think that the lighting is pretty cool. It adds to the mysticism of the character.
Well, remember when early Kane matches, there was a red lighting that they used. And I do have to agree with what you say, and a lot of people don't realize the fact that down in Mexico, they wrestle to one side of the body. In America, they wrestle to the other side. So we're still getting used to that. And a lot of the current WWE performers aren't used to working with a superstar that has a style like a Sin Cara, like a Hunico. Maybe that's why Hunico kind of had to, quote-unquote, dumb his style down a little bit, because of That style is so
Also-
over the top. It is so impressive. It is so hard for a normal guy to grasp. That's why Sin Cara stands out from the rest of the fold.
Exactly. Also, which is another thing, it's not always necessary, could be on Sin Cara that, there's errors in the ring. There's also on the other, like you just said, with the speed of Sin Cara, someone who has the speed of Sin Cara, who's matching up against the speed of like someone like for instance, a R-Truth.
Exactly. And here's another good point to make too. It's all right. 3 basic points about Sin Cara, and I think we should move on to the next segment. 1. He learned one style, wrestling to one side of his body. Now he's wrestling to the other. That's like a perfect example. If you're not from this country and you drive on the other side of the road, imagine coming here and now driving on the right side of the road, and you're accustomed to driving on the left. Second thing, these are human bodies. There's physics at play. Sometimes things just don't work out exactly the way you want them to. You ever go, perfect example, you ever go to spin a wrench on a car, your hand slips, your knuckles get hurt?
Exactly.
Not the way you wanted it. Physics didn't work in your favor.
That just to
And then the third thing, excuse me, I just get, aggravated about this, but it's here at the F and Brand. We just believe in, regardless if you like the gimmick or not, there's plenty of wrestlers and gimmicks that we haven't liked over the years, but we respect these athletes for what they do. They go out there and they put their necks on the line for us. But, guys, that's enough of that.
But before we get into it, I just wanted to finish what I had to say. It was one of the reasons why Sin Cara was also moved from Raw to SmackDown, because they put him to SmackDown thinking that it would give him a little bit more time to adapt to that in-ring style of wrestling to the one side instead of the way he learned over in Mexico, the traditional way they wrestle over there. And since coming back, since being in the WWE, I think Sin Cara himself has adapted to those skills. Yeah, it's not easy performing in front of 50,000 people. It's not easy for anybody. I mean, that's like going on stage and giving a speech in front of 50,000 people.
Well,
it's rough.
Well, I mean, a typical WWE event is anywhere from, I would say, probably 6,500 to 20,000.
Yeah.
But I understand.
Yeah.
I understand the.
But all in all,
comparison
great
you're trying
match
to make.
between the two. Hunico, Sin Cara. I've been pushing Sin Cara in the mid-card level. And I also was explaining to Brian earlier this morning on my way to an interview that maybe with these guys in the mid-carder, if they can never get to that level in the main event, maybe bring back a title like the Cruiserweight or the Light Heavyweight Championship to give something a little bit more than these guys strive for.
I mean, it's going to be an honest fact of professional wrestling and basically any business. There's guys that are very good in one spot. There's a guy that could be great working on the production line, but maybe he's not the guy that should be leading your business.
Exactly.
But he is the most loyal guy. He'll come in every day. He'll work hard for you. And if he's taking your money, he will give you your money's worth. But the thing about it is, there's a guy like a Sin Cara. Is he ever going to be World's Heavyweight Champion? Probably not. But could he be the best damn Cruiserweight Champion?
Or a Light Heavyweight Champion?
Very likely. Could he help carry a division? Very likely. Could he be a formidable member of a tag team? Very likely. See, certain guys fit into certain positions. I mean, you had great main event level talent like Roddy Piper. Main event level talent, main event level matches, never caught the WWE title. Doesn't mean he wasn't a main event level star. It's just certain guys are fit into certain positions.
Exactly.
And in the grander scheme of things, day-by-day basis, wrestling fans are like, oh, why do they do that? You got to look at the bigger picture. There's a bigger picture here, and there really is. There really, truly is, and I know it's kind of hard to see sometimes, but there's a certain demographic that the WWE is tailoring to. If they tailor to the 200 or 300 people here in the YWC or the IWC or the couple thousand in these organizations, whatever have you, versus the 40, 50, 60% share that is making up their core demographic, then they probably would be as in bad shape as our current show is right now, don't you think?
Yeah.
Sorry guys, didn't mean to jab at you like that.
We move into the next match of the night. We see the Raw debut of Ryback taking on two locals, Stan Stansky and Arthur Rosenberg. Now, we're not going to dwell too much on this. I think at this point in time, Ryback has the in-ring know-it-all to go against a bigger opponent, someone that he can showcase more than just a 2-minute quick match.
Oh, I was actually reading an article earlier, funny enough that you bring that up, and the plans are to push Ryback to that next level, and I can't wait to see it happen. There's been a lot of comparisons to a Bill Goldberg, but you know what, to be honest, even though Goldberg was a pure brute, I absolutely love Bill Goldberg. And, my stepfather being Jewish, Goldberg was his favorite wrestler. Didn't really know much about wrestling, but Goldberg, Jewish guy, stepfather's Jewish, he just thought he was alright. I grew up in a Roman Catholic family, but that's completely irrelevant to our conversation. But
Bill Goldberg broke into WCW, and he was facing guys like Billy Kidman. He was facing guys like Bill DeMott. He was facing guys like Raven.
Oh, exactly.
Scott Hall, Kevin Nash.
But the thing about Goldberg is, with that pure brute power, Goldberg was so limited.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the spear, the jackhammer, a few other moves, couple minutes.
He was very agile for a big guy. Remember when he did that backflip?
Oh yeah, I'm not taking anything away from Bill Goldberg, but I'm just saying about Ryback. This guy has an incredible amount of charisma. He has an incredible amount of talent.
He needs more. He needs more to speak than just feed me more and finish him.
He's a machine. The speaking, if you can get over in the ring, maybe the speaking is not that necessary with him. But the thing about it is, I agree. He needs the upper level talent to go against, but it's tough because you're gonna kind of like the stigma with Tensai. Goldberg, Albert, Goldberg. But I see more in Ryback. He's more agile. He's got more to bring to the table. Not that Bill Goldberg. That's the end of comparison. You know. Basically, Ryback picks up the win over these two guys. They never stood a chance, I'm sorry to say.
No.
But it's nice that they got featured on Monday Night Raw. You know, I guess they got to call home to their girlfriends.
Yeah, I'm going to be on Monday Night Raw. When you face it, Ryback, you know you're going to lose, right? Pretty much, it's basically all you can say.
I hate to say it. Then we see the rematch from Friday Night SmackDown. It was a WWE title match on Friday Night SmackDown. Tonight is a non-title match. It is Kane versus CM Punk.
Great match. Loved it. It was a lot of back and forth. Kane getting the upper hand and CM Punk battling back. Then CM Punk getting the upper hand and Kane battling back. Again, with this match, they're building up towards the main event for Monday Night Raw at No Way Out. But when you have a talent like, especially like a Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk, you don't need like someone like Kane breaking in, or when you have interfering. When you have someone with the talent of Daniel Bryan and Kane, you shouldn't have CM Punk getting involved. It
furthers the storyline towards the match they're going to have at that pay-per-view. Three-way dance, of course, the third competitor's got to somehow get involved. Just like earlier tonight, it's a singles match for the world title. But Alberto Del Rio, at whatever chance he get, he's just gonna bite. He's gonna bite away until he can actually get that victory. But basically, Kane picked up the win over CM Punk after, I believe, chokeslam, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Then we move in post-match. We see Daniel Bryan get involved. Then AJ comes in to check on CM Punk. Just as we see Kane get ready to maybe make a move towards AJ. AJ kind of like looks at him, tilts her head to the side, and smiles, and that kind of like backs Kane off. And then this situation escalates after the tag team match between Kofi Kingston, R-Truth, Hawkins, and Rex. Another great tag team match. Oh,
great tag team match. I'm a huge fan of NXT, and I'm very familiar with Kurt Hawkins and Tyler Rex work over on that particular show. Absolutely phenomenal combination, and it was a great tag team match. We saw the tag team champions go against these two competitors in a non-title match. There was a lot of back and forth action, and it's just a little taste of WWE's up-and-coming revitalized tag team division. We have Hawkins and Rex. We have Kofi and R-Truth. We have the Usos. And there's so many others that we could just keep listing, Primo and Epico. And the names just keep going on and on, but it was a great match. The tag team champions were successful in this match. Kofi Kingston and R-Truth did pick up the victory over NXT's Hawkins and Rex.
Then we come back from the match, post-match, backstage. We see Josh Matthews catching up with AJ and basically asks, what was the smile between you and Kane? And then basically AJ just comes out and says, hey, you know what, I like guys, the way guys look at me. And then she starts fiddling with his tie and says, you know what, are you uncomfortable? Does this make you uncomfortable? And she basically like picks at his hair and says, you might be my type of guy.
And she's like, kind of like do you like aggressive girls? And like,
you know, if Josh Matthews could pull off someone like AJ, I give him credit, because since he's been in the WWE, he hasn't had the greatest luck with the divas. Interviewing divas at all.
I don't think Josh Matthews has had the greatest luck. You remember
Brock Lesnar?
What was it, the second season of Tough Enough?
Exactly.
But you know, honestly though, Josh Matthews is a hell of an announcer. He's come a long way in the WWE, and he definitely deserves credit where credit is due. But yeah, it was kind of an interesting backstage segment, just further solidifying AJ being absolutely off a rocker now. And then we go into the main event. It's supposed to be John Cena versus Michael Cole. But this is when Johnny Laurinaitis comes out and goes, "People power!" But before he says that, he basically announces that John Cena has to go against Lord Tensai, and if he can make it through Tensai, then he'll get to face Michael Cole after that in a no disqualification match.
Not going to cover too much on that. Lord Tensai, strong showing. John Cena, strong showing. John Cena gives Lord Tensai his first loss since coming back to the WWE.
First televised loss, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that too.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah. And then we go into Cena versus Cole, no disqualification. And looked like, yet again, John Cena just playing the antics, playing around, just torturing Cole, kind of like he did with Laurinaitis. We see Tensai come out because it is a no disqualification hit match. He returns to ringside, ends up hitting with the Baldo Bomb, if I wasn't mistaken. And, it looked like Cole was screaming like a little frickin' rat. It was like, shh. And it looked like he, was going to 1, 2, boom, kicks out. And then Cena gets back up and ends up picking up the win, torturing him with a fire extinguisher. But I really thought for that moment there, oh my God, Cole is going to be John Cena in the main event of Monday Night Raw.
Covered in barbecue sauce.
Covered in barbecue sauce just because John Cena had to fuck around again, just like he did at the previous pay-per-view. And would that be the point where John Cena's going to start getting frustrated with this gimmick? Maybe they should have let Cole win, so he's just so utterly disgusted with himself, not turning him full-fledged heel, but just making him a little bit edgier of a character.
Yeah. It could have been something to see. I mean, they did it when he joined the Nexus. He really didn't want to be in there, but he got his licks in with the group. But I think the highlight of this match is when he had him like in a rear naked choke. He had the mic and he said, "You know what? I want you to apologize to someone who you ran away from the commentators table in the Hall of Famer Jim Ross." Then he says, "You also need to apologize to Jerry the King Lawler." And then this is when we saw Lawler get involved and hand Cena the barbecue sauce, and it just went all downhill for Michael Cole. Then it went back uphill for John Cena. Then just when we thought that Cole was going to squeeze in the back door, John Cena kicked out, hit the AA, picked up the win. And then even after post-match, still grabbing the fire extinguisher, spraying it around the ring, messing with the fans at the ringside, and then going over and spraying it. What was left in the extinguisher on Cole.
Exactly.
To end the show.
Basically could not say it better. And guys, now this is the best part of all this. You got to hear some of our thoughts. Now we want to hear yours. Please drop them in the comment box below. Don't be afraid to leave your feedback. We will defend you if anybody wants to come after you for having your own opinions and views. Thank you for checking out this video. Thank you for being loyal fans and subscribers of the F and brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com. Please also check out We Are Pro Wrestling, the most extreme wrestling, who recently returned to YouTube after a short hiatus. And also, please check out all the channels that make up the F and brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com, especially F and True Entertainment, where JC Styles in the last few days has provided a whole bunch of updates for WWE 13. We hope you guys have a great night. I'm Brian Crazy.
I'm JC Styles.
And we'll catch you later.